Hey, it's Mike, your host of Craft Beer Storm. It's Friday. That means we have to bring you the craft brew news of the week. And these stories are brought to you by brewbound.com. Awesome website. Check it out. And the first one, NFL allows players to be featured in beer ads. Man, I didn't know I don't know there was a restriction. I don't know where that's coming from. The National Football League will now allow players to be featured in beer ads, according to the Morning Consult, citing a league email. The news comes months after the NBA and MLB lifted restrictions on active players to be featured in beer ads. However, the NFL has put restrictions on its players' participation, including only active players can be featured in the ads. Wow, they also, I guess, govern inactive players? I don't know. The ads cannot imply players are endorsing the products. Well, then why you put them in the ads? I don't understand. If a company wants to feature more than one player in an advertisement, it must use a minimum of 6 players in the ad. And then players must also be featured in uniform in-action shots using licensed Associated Press photos. Wow. NFL has also eased restrictions on wine and spirits companies, allowing them to become official sponsors of its franchisees. Although wine and hard liquor companies will be allowed to use team logos on packaging, they will not be able to use players in their advertisements. And there you go. Well, at least they're moving forward, right? So eventually, I guess all these restrictions will go away. Who knows when? But it's just weird that they're not. I don't know. I mean, I saw baseball players. Well, I guess they're retired and they're in beer ads. I guess I don't know. Anyway, second story: details of CBA's Kona lawsuit settlement. We talked about this in a previous episode of Craft Brew News. So a month after Craft Brew Alliance agreed to settle a years-long class action lawsuit over alleged false and deceptive advertising of its Kona Brewing beer brand, the Portland, Oregon-based craft beer company has detailed the settlement agreement in a May 23 SEC filing. As part of the agreement, CBA will pay up to $10 to customers without receipts, and as much as $20 to those with a proof of purchase. So I guess anybody can apply for 10. If you want $10, tell CBA you bought beer. You bought beer, Kona beer. I don't know. CBA has said it expects to incur costs of $4.7 million to settle the dispute. And according to the original complaint, CBA intentionally misled consumers into believing Kona products were made in Hawaii. Although CBA operates a production facility in Hawaii and produces thousands of barrels on the island, a majority of Kona beer sold in the continental U.S. is brewed at the facilities in Portland, Oregon, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, that's right near us, right up the street from us, now they call it Cisco, and an Anheuser-Busch brewery in Fort Collins, Colorado. So there you go. Lawsuit was filed. Hey, you say it's Kona beer, and then you go brew it in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. What's the story? So they settled the lawsuit. I guess according to their lawyers, it could have been much worse for them. I guess, but there you go. Third story: Deschutes Brewery launches brand new campaign, and actually, we check out episode 42 where we interview Deschutes brewmaster Brian Favor. Awesome guy making great, excellent beer. And Deschutes Brewery is attempting to position itself as the beer of choice in a land of recreational cannabis. The company said in the press release, the Bend, Oregon headquartered craft brewery released a series of videos and advertisements earlier this week as part of its new It Comes with the Territory campaign. According to Deschutes Vice President of Marketing Neil Stewart, the company is drawing attention to the healthy tension between craft beer and cannabis. I guess craft beer is a new competitor. It's cannabis. And he also said, people are going to enjoy recreational cannabis, but we want to remind them that this is still one of, if not the best place on earth to enjoy a beer, and Deschutes help put the craft brewing industry on the map. Hallelujah. But they're putting out a lot of beer. I think it was like 400,000 barrels a year. So that's a lot of beer that they're putting out. But it's all delicious. If you get a chance, try the Shoots beer. They don't have it in the Northeast here, but so when I tell people about it, they're like, "What?" But some do. And if you're out west, you know who they are. They're in Virginia too. They were planning to put a facility there. I think that's been put on hold, but we'll see what happens. And your last story, No Lee and Goose Island butt heads over born and raised name. And actually, check out episode number 25, where we interview Matt Jimenez. He's the head brewer of Goose Island, China in Shanghai. So we're getting these guys on, man. You know, these big names in the news. We're getting these master brewers on. It's awesome. And, Matt's out in Goose Island. It's kind of a brew pub out there what he has, Shanghai. It's not massive, mass-produced, but he was telling us some great stuff. Check out that episode. Good stuff. The Chicago Tribune chronicled attempts by the No Lee Brewhouse founder, John Bryant, to resolve a dispute with Anheuser-Busch-owned Goose Island, which recently began to using the name Born and Raised for a new draft-only ale that is exclusively available in Chicago. Spokane, Washington-based No Lee has used the Born and Raised name for its flagship IPA in the last 7 years. He claims No Lee has first used rights on the name. However, his efforts to resolve the issue between have been rebuffed by Goose Island leaders. They're saying, "Hey, man, we're going to use the name." So I don't think we should have to give Anheuser-Busch a brand that's established since 2012. He told the Tribune. For his part, Goose Island president Toss Asman said he's confident the Chicago Craft Brewery can use the name since No Lee doesn't own a federal trademark on the name. Now, I guess they don't own a federal trademark, and they can probably get around it that way, but there might be an implied trademark. But I don't know. That's a state-to-state thing. I think they're in different states, so... Hey, I don't know. This happens in the craft beer industry, man. I had a symbol that we used, and I had a new logo. It's in a Triskeli ancient symbol. It's like a cross, it's an ancient Celtic symbol. And the brew pub approached us and said, that looks a lot like ours. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's an ancient Celtic symbol. So we adjusted it a little bit, and then everybody was happy. So we got through that. But others cease and desist. Moosehead Brewery. These brewers here in New Hampshire are going to call themselves Moose Lick. And Moosehead, there are a couple guys, and Moosehead just came along, cease and desist. Sounds too close to our name. And they had to change their name to Granite Roots. But there you go. Stuff like this happens in the craft beer industry all the time. So that is our craft brew news for today. If you like what we're doing, please go on iTunes, give us a rating and review. Tell a friend, tell 10 friends. Bring this to you. Every week we do 3 podcasts a week. Mondays we interview people, like we interview Brian Faber and Matt Jimenez, give you that quality interviews. And then Wednesday we do beer styles. So we go down the Great American Beer Festival list and we just pick a different style. There's like 102 of them. And they have subcategories, so we pick a different style every week, and we go through the grain that's used, the color, hoppiness, glass to serve it in, and examples of the style. Because there's just so many different types of beer. It's great to know that they're out there, right? Maybe you don't even know. Could be your new favorite beer. And then Fridays, like we just did now, is Craft Brew News, where we bring you the brew news of the week. The soap opera continues. Crazy news like NFL, players not featured in beer ads. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on with that. But there you go. That's our craft brew news today. Have a beautiful weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Take care.